Day Dawns ARKS. Welcome everyone to your weekly Phantasy Star Online 2 podcast, recorded live on October 10th, 2020. I'm one of your hosts, PrinceBrightstar, and with me is Xance. Go ahead and say hello.
Yo, how's it going, everyone? I had nothing creative to say today.
That's okay. Sometimes we all need a break on things like that. So we got a pretty full show for you here today. We're branching out a little bit from PSO2, looking finally, hopefully, at that final PSO Developer Interview, as well as the Dreamcast mini tease. We've also got some... Go ahead.
That was interesting to hear about. They just name dropped, oh yeah, Dreamcast mini.
Yep. So I got that interview pulled up. We'll be able to take a look at that. It's not that long, so we'll be able to shoot through that pretty quickly. But yeah, in terms of gaming weeks, I've just been focused on episode 5. It is nothing else has grabbed my attention. It's just been JAMADA after JAMADA.
Yep.
If you don't know the joke, that is what the Crimson Fellworm says when he says, I think it's interlopers. Basically, when he does that big backflip.
Yep. Where I always see someone take a lot of damage or die. Sometimes that's me. It's so hard to dodge at times.
I've been noticing a lot of people going down, and I think it's actually more than what was on the Japanese side, now that I think about it. And that's good to hear that the game is more stable for you there, Lord Samuel.
That is good.
But yeah, why don't we go ahead and jump right in? Actually, no, I apologize. You still need to go on your weekly gaming.
Yeah, which it's been the same. It's either PSO2, or also I've been getting into some Monster Hunter. I found some people to play with, play Generations Ultimate with, so I've been doing that. And I'm currently at G3.
Gotcha. I guess that's a rank or something?
Yeah, G rank 3. Which is Hunter rank 12, I believe.
Gotcha. Yeah, I never got into Monster Hunter. I gave Monster Hunter a try back on the Wii back in the day, but it just never caught my attention. And I think it was just I think it had something to do with how short the zones were. And when I was comparing that to what PSO was able to do, I was like, why do you have these tiny little areas? Why can't you load the whole zone?
Well, that's what World eventually did, and that's also what Rise is going to be doing.
Gotcha. Okay, maybe I'll give it a shot if I can find like a day or something like that sometime in the future. But with the way this series is going, probably not for 6 months at this rate.
Yeah, we have a lot of things coming up. When they said they're truncating a lot of the things, oh boy, are they truncating it.
Oh yeah, no, Aaron Weber definitely got it right, that basically we're taking 8 years of content within a single year.
Yeah. It's a bit overwhelming at times.
Yeah. But at least they're giving us a helping hand on some of this stuff. One thing we can definitely note here is the fact that, at least compared to the Japanese version, when it comes to the refight version of the Crimson Fellworm, which is against the Black Fellworm now, they apparently nerfed the death counter in that, so that you don't completely fail out at 5 fails now, or 5 deaths rather.
Yep. Rather, you just get a low rank.
Yep. And sorry to hear about that, Rooks there.
Yeah, that's awful.
So we'll see if Sega decides to continue that pattern. They're not doing it in the story, I can tell you that much right now. I got a B rank when I went through the Omega Angel fight, so I gotta pick that up again once the tool comes out.
I got a C rank. Yeah, my initial fight against the Omega Angel was garbage.
Yeah. By the way, if you complete all the main and sub stories, go ahead and talk to some people around the lobby, especially Echo. They've got some extra cutscenes that are supposed to come out with the next update, but they actually, if you actually talk to them right now, they're gonna just bring up the cutscene because that's the other way to actually access them. And I don't think Sega remembered to lock those out.
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually.
Yep. Yeah, especially with the Echo one. That's just like, well, let's just say Sierra's butting her head into things again, and it's one of Ark's great mysteries. I'll just say that.
Yep. Well, Sierra butts her head into everything.
Ever since she got off the bridge, yeah.
Yep.
But all right, why don't we go ahead and start up with the PSO2 site updates here for this week here. So
not much. We only have about 3 things from the site updates.
Pretty much. We do have to pick up one thing here though. Last week we missed the casino boosts that were going on. Just scrolling down here to when they've got the next set of boosts going here. They've got some boosts going for today for the Massetin shooter, tomorrow the Arkma slots, and then on Monday the Lilo roulette. And then starting on the 18th, we got a whole nother round of them, which is the whole set that we've seen in the past. And then the week after is then yet another set of them. So they're still pushing the casino, plus the casino pass distribution periods here. So since it's the 10th, there's still time to get in on even getting your reward for 3-day in a row thing there.
Mm-hmm. Which is just more casino coins. Yay.
Pretty much, yeah. Alright, but we do have a new urgent quest here. Xantz, why don't you go ahead and take this one?
Alrighty. Some creatures just don't know when to quit. And unfortunately, the Crimson Fellworm is one of them. Someone has purposely revived it, and their intentions seem less than benevolent. Even worse, the Crimson Fellworm spotted over the castle seems to be more powerful than legend foretold. As though the force used to revive it was also applied to its already considerable might. It will probably take more than the Sword Maiden and the Laconium sword to slay the beast, so all operatives are to report immediately to the quest counter if the alarm is sounded. An ARKS operative is never quite off duty, as there always exists the potential for unplanned attacks from their tenacious enemies. In these instances, operatives must be reactive to changing conditions and enemies, as periodically the opposing forces will switch tactics and unleash new experiences or new content upon fleet oracles. These attacks are known throughout the ships as urgent quests. Okay, it's just, talking about the urgent quests.
Yeah, they do that every time.
Yeah.
And then we've also got the... so here's the actual secondary description of it.
The greatest fear of the inhabitants of Sorrento? Is that how you pronounce it?
Cuento.
Cuento. The inhabitants of Cuento have been realized, as reports confirm that the legendary Crimson Fellworm has risen again and escaped imprisonment from the Cuento castle ruins on Omega. Alice, the Sword Maiden, has lent usage of the Laconium sword to ARKS for this battle, and using it will grant operatives special abilities. The power of the Laconium sword is best used on vulnerable areas of the beast, which will luminesce. With the combined might of ARKS and the Sword Maiden Alice, the Laconium sword shall once more serve the purpose for which it was created, to end this winged blight. Which, by the way, this is actually happening on NA that never happened on JP when this first started. People are actually remember to charge up PAs.
Yeah, we can't make that joke. It's a pure miracle here.
I know. I don't know how that happened.
I don't either. I mean, I helped teach people in mine, but that doesn't account for every other run out there.
Mm-hmm.
And something I do want to bring up about this whole urgent quest here, if you're unaware, is this whole urgent quest is based on the original Phantasy Star game, back on the Sega Master System or the Mark III SG-1000, if you were playing it on that one. This whole scene, aside from the fact that it takes place in that castle, is based on Alice and her party fighting against the Red Dragon in that game. Which, by the way, in that game, if you knew the telepathy spell, or if you had a telepathy sphere on you, you could just talk to them. They understood what you were saying, and you could understand what they were saying, and they would just give you a quick hint about the area, basically.
Interesting.
Yep. So, it's not what happens here, though. You actually have to take it down.
Mm-hmm.
Continuing on, it looks like they talk about S-grade augments here.
Alright. This quest may reward you with Val series weapons, which are compatible with S-grade augments, such as S1, S2, and S3. Weapons that can accept S-grade augments will have a certain number of slots available in which you can socket specific grade augments, and these can be stacked such that they contribute to greater effects. For instance, consider the following S-grade augments. Pentagleam increases potency by 3 and for 30 seconds every time you deal 450k damage. Okay. Oh yeah, NA players are definitely surprising me a lot.
Yep, definitely.
S2, Descent of the Patelsi 2, when Pentagram, Seagleam, and Snowgleam, or Pentagleam, Snowgleam, or Seagleam and Snowgleam are active, PP consumption is reduced by 14%. What is the Pentagleam?
Those are the 3 different colors that you. I don't know why they went with these names on this. This is confusing.
I don't know. If weapon had those slots available, all 3 of the above could be affixed such that any time S1 Pentagleam activates, the effects of the other 2 S-grade augments would activate. Okay. So, yeah, some of the Val series weapons you can get, like the Val Farter, Val Rhodia, and Val Letra. I actually like how the Val Farter looks, because it just looks like a broken sword.
Exactly, and once you apply the Chronos Eterna Stone, it's like you fixed Aragorn's sword or whatever it was.
Yep. After using a Chronos Eterna Stone, which are also dropped in this quest. What?
Yeah, I haven't seen one drop yet, but.
Remember how the Chronos Eterna Stone was like a very rare drop on JP?
It was. You got it through a title, and then you got 1 or 2, I think, from the Road to Episode 6 thing.
Yes, and you also got one for finishing the story that ended with Omega Masquerade.
That's right.
And that was it. Like, you were very limited on how many Chronos Eterna Stones you got.
Yep.
And here it's dropping from this quest. It's a 13-star drop, so don't expect it, but that's interesting.
Yep.
But yeah, you can upgrade the Val Farter into the Atlas Farter, which you'll want that Atlas Farter along with the Lumiere and 400 X cubes to make the Atlas EX.
Yep.
I already have the Lumiere. I just need the Atlas.
I've got the Atlas. I just need the Lumiere.
Well, we're on 2 opposite sides then.
Yeah, it's the Judas I'm missing, and worst case, I can just pick it off the player market, but hopefully I don't have to do it that way. I know I can just hand in some Rising Weapon 4. And then we've also got the refight here.
Yes, the Black Fellworm arises from ruins. You must possess a super hard difficulty ferment and be level 80 on both main and subclasses. An empowered form of Fellworm, the Black Fellworm, has been spotted arising from Quento Castle ruins on Omega. The potential for loss of civilian lives and property due to this monster is high, and our senior ranking operatives are needed to aid Alice the Sword Maiden in the use of the Laconium Sword to put down this unnatural beast. Collect those upon who you can rely on and make your way to the gateway ship. Yeah, this is also limited to just 4 people. So you just have a singular party, and that is it.
And only 1 Laconium Sword at a time until the very end.
Which, if you're good enough, you don't need to worry about using Laconium Sword that much.
Yep. It's basically just unseal the thing, and then you can just drop it unless you actually want to hang on to it for some reason. Like your gear is just underneath what you can actually do. With the sword.
If that's the case, why are you doing this refight? Honestly.
Yeah. And it looks like they got some new jet boots for you there.
Yee! I like jet boots. Oh, I've had those before. Those are really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I had those on JP.
Yeah, they had like a really good potential on them or something like that, I think. Not as good as the Xenesis though, I think. Or Zyrent, whatever it was called.
I don't remember.
And then you got these knuckles here, which... Okay, saws on each hand.
Beautiful.
And then, what in the world is an Earth-type weapon doing on Omega?
Don't know.
Actually, there is an explanation. We'll get that with the next update, when the next story update comes. Or I suppose if you finish the story, you can just walk onto the bridge right now, and you'll have a little surprise there. That's something. Yeah, as we said before, there are a bunch of hidden cutscenes that are in this in the game right now. You just gotta talk to NPCs. All right.
Not that hard.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on, we have an AC scratch ticket, which, whoops, I need to refresh this here to bring it back up. Come on, website, work with me here. Why are you doing this to me? This is a bug that keeps happening from time to time on the website, and we don't know why it happens.
It just stalls on loading for some reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just leave it to where it will load normally, but other times you have to just keep on refreshing it until it actually finally loads.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it is called Royal Fantasy.
Mm-hmm. It's more of the medieval side of things.
Yeah, it's basically the NPCs. So here's the Harriet outfit, and then here's Luther's outfit. And then you've got the armor of the Cuento soldiers. Both female and male versions coming up here. And then those floating blades are kind of interesting. They don't move, though.
Mm-hmm. No, they don't. But I've seen people with all 4 slots as just the floating blades, and they just have it around their body.
That's funny.
Yep.
And I'm sure they'll have more for New Genesis.
Oh, definitely.
Then you got your hairstyles. And Harriet makeup. And you got a couple of emotes here.
Yep. Unique dance. Okay. On standby. The female one just looks so exhausted.
Yeah.
Well, the man one's just flaunting. Yeah, no thanks, no thanks.
Oh, and you've also got
and
this.
39.
And then Cheer 2 is a bonus reward.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take it down below here. So, Q and Will plate, which I don't think we saw in that video.
I don't believe so. It looks really cool, though.
Yeah. And then, Cuentoro cloth. Harriet formal wear. Got some interesting base wears with this as well.
Mm-hmm. Lots of regalia, though. That looks really great. Specifically the second one.
Where is it?
Oh, you actually did click on it already.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, when I first saw this back on the Japanese servers, I was like, why is he wearing like a nightgown or something like that? And of course, you got your typical innerwear, helmets and hairstyles, makeup, some gloves and socks, ornamental swords, as well as shields. Let's take a look at one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I never really understood the purpose of having straps like that. I mean, it's not like your sword is going to curve like that. Unless that's actually where you're holding the thing from. Maybe that's what it is.
Probably, so that it fits more so with your arm.
Yeah. And then you got the Luther scarves, Harriet's and Alice's headdress and hairbands. Lutz emblem. And you've got both type regular floating blades as well as a Type B floating blade. And some earrings and Hibiscus. Typical set of consumables here. None of the photon points /3s this week. And then I don't think we saw the Super Koto.
No, we did not see that. Super Kauto. So basically, it's like ultimate way of just bowing down to someone.
That's right. I saw that on the shop. It's like you do a front flip and then you just land on your knees bowing.
Yep. I've seen it used a lot in some Japanese media, more so for comedic purposes.
Exactly.
Like kowtowing dramatically is also used in Dragon Quest XI.
It's a very Japanese thing, that's for sure. Okay, and your bonuses this week for your scratching, you got the little pin in the box accessory, the cheer to emote, and then of course towards the bottom there you got your Royal F ticket if you don't get what you want. And of course, aside from new AC scratch, we got fun scratch tickets as well. You're not gonna say it this week?
I did say fun.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
I guess it didn't pick up on the mic. All right, let me say it louder. Fun!
There we go. Yeah, it kind of sounded like when it came through to me. Yeah, maybe you're peeking there or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Which is weird because we were having audio issues with you earlier.
Yeah, we were. Or maybe I just didn't say it loud enough.
Possibly. Slap mark.
Okay.
Let's see, and then of course,
well, with the slap mark, the slap competition is back up, so yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
I don't know if you ever seen any of those slap competition videos.
I don't think I have.
Moist Critical, he does videos talking about them.
Gotcha.
So.
Zipper paint. Why would you want paint of a zipper on your back?
I don't know.
I guess that's not a human in there, is it? Or something. We got the spades and the club's bow tie accessory here.
That actually works really well with the dealer's outfit.
Yep. And luckily there's no Niao on that one.
No, good.
You got the paramotor accessory. So I guess if you've got the fly emote, you can fly while you're paramotoring.
Yep. 10, you're an attack helicopter.
Pretty much, yeah. That's how that one works. Although you can't find that one anymore, I don't think. Let's see here. Got Star Fringe, which is these sort of like fringes on your side there. Hear No Evil head mount, which is just a monkey.
Yep. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil.
Yep. Cuento emblem.
And then the repeats from last week.
Pretty much, yep. And the new emote this time is going to be Let's Do This. So there you go. And then, of course, you do have some new furnishings. Looks like they are food-based for some of them here. So chocolate chip cookies, pop-up toaster, and shoyu ramen, and some sushi.
And then you still have the nightclub ones.
Yep. And some new PSO2 music as well, it looks like.
Nice.
Alright, with all that said, we did get an announcement about the next maintenance, which is going to be happening on the 13th. Well, they say the 13th here, although it's the 14th Eastern time, so
yeah.
that gets confusing. I guess it's like the two teams.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah, Wednesday morning or Tuesday evening, depending upon your time zone.
Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty much what we had for the Western version. Although you said you wanted to go into the Funporium real quick.
Yes. So in the Funporium, there are new emotes that you can get from it. These were emotes that I know were in the game during the closed beta test, because I was able to get one before, for some reason, those emotes were no longer available. So I should have mentioned this last week, because they were added in last week. But now you can get 2 emotes that I remembered about. One of them being rock, paper, scissors. And the other emote, which is the best emote ever to put into the game, group gymnastics. And all it is T-pose.
Yep.
Now, It is mostly used so that you can set up like different poses that you can do for like a group, so that you can get a nice picture. But by default, it just does a T-pose. So just get a bunch of people, do group gymnastics around someone, and there you go. You can show your dominance.
Yep. I think they also had the signboards in with this one, so if you're looking to create like a little image, you can definitely do that. Although, keep in mind, there's a limited number that are going to be able to display on your screen, so keep that in mind as you're working on that. And then the other thing that we didn't cover last week was the fact that the Recycle Shop now also has the stuff related to actually recycling materials to upgrade the materials into other materials. Which is
for crafting.
Yep. And it's also needed if you are going to be getting any of the Atlas upgrades, because that's how you get Goldnia or the other types of gold stuff to increase your to either attach the Eterna Stone or to change the weapon types on the farter. Or, I'm sorry, not the Val weapons, not the farter. That's the sword.
But yeah, you can change the weapon type of the Atlas after you. So if you made an Atlas weapon, and then you got the S grade augment, then you can change the weapon type with another 999 of the weapon materials.
Yep, it is expensive, but it's
well worth it if you want to get Vampiric Strike.
Yep, and people that like me who created all the characters that they could so that they could put all those into crafting to desynthesize them, or dismantle them rather, for that big day when we could finally do that. Oh yeah, it was a good day.
So yeah, the Goldnias you can get either from dismantling 13 stars or trading in the Sylvnias that you get from 12 stars. Which it is extremely easy to get 12 stars, specifically the Noxes and Sigmas, so it's not a big trouble at all.
Yep, you don't have to recycle those into the Lambda grinders anymore.
Yeah, it's good.
Alright, so with that, let's move on to the Japanese side of things here for PSO2. So
actually, real quick, I do want to mention about the maintenance that's coming up.
Okay.
We do have like the speculation of what might be coming up soon.
Yep, that's a good point. I did put that together. I was going to hold off on that a little bit, but yeah, I guess we can go into that now here.
Because we're talking about it right now. So the maintenance is going to be coming up this Wednesday, and that's also when the Sakura Wars lobby ends. So what I was assuming was probably going to happen is we're going to go right into the Halloween lobby, since it's October. Halloween's coming up in late October, so makes sense.
Yep. And
so here's the question: will we get the Trick or Treat urgent quest then?
It's either going to be that, or we're going to get the Omega Luther urgent quest.
Or we start with the Trick or Treat, and then the following week we get Luther.
Exactly. It's going to be it's going to be in one of those two orders, most likely. Aside from that, the next week we're also going to get the story chapters for the Epic and the East Artia area in the story, and we are likely also going to get the Enchanted Forest next week as well.
Yeah, could be after this maintenance, which I would absolutely love if it was, because that just gives a much better and easier way of grinding Chaos Molissa Stones.
Yep. We're probably also going to get the Atlas X trade-in at that point as well.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Yep.
Wail around using a 15-star weapon. Oh boy.
Exactly. And then, like we said, 1021, we're probably looking at Omega Luther Urgent Quest or the Halloween Urgent Quest, whichever didn't come out next week.
Mm-hmm.
After that, 1028, final episode 5 story chapters are released. Along with that, we're going to get the Masquerade Ultimate and the Omega Dark Falls number 3 Urgent Quest. And I'm just saying that if you know the story, you know who that is. But because it's a spoiler, I'm not going to say who it is just yet here.
Yep. And also with the Masquerade Ultimate, we would also get the Omega Masquerade solo Extreme Quest. Or no,
well, that's what I'm
Quest,
saying. It is.
Yeah,
it's an
solo
ultimate quest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the solo Ultimate Quest, which I will just say this: it is limited to how many times you can complete it per day, but if you're by yourself, good luck. Try to just dodge attacks and only attack whenever you have an opening.
Just keep in mind there's a timer in there. You got to beat them before that timer runs out.
Yep.
If you go in there with a 15-star weapon, you do double damage up to a certain point in the fight. And I'm wondering if they're going to increase the number of attempts per day for the Western version, because it was limited to just 5 in the Japanese version.
They might update it to 20, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, because they would want to get this thing finished before New Genesis comes out, and that should give you a hint as to just how long this content is supposed to last.
A lot longer than what it is right now.
Yep, and if you happen to make it to the end, good luck.
Yep, the death can go up to 999. At that point, pretty much every single hit, like if he hits you, you're dead, unless you have Iron Will.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it, but now that you have, his on that final stage, his attacks do 999,999 damage to you.
Yep, it does damage, Cap.
Yep. So that is quite literally the definition of get good.
And don't get hit.
Yeah.
Forehead. Yeah, just don't get hit, forehead.
Say one more time. I think you broke up a little bit there.
Oh, I said just don't get hit, forehead.
Yeah.
Just referencing the meme.
Yep. Gotcha. Okay, so after that, November 4th, we're looking at a potentially never-ending battle to the Edge of Recollection, which is the first of the Endless Quests. After that, or with that week, we're also probably going to get the new Mission Pass, including the Circular Amplite Stone, which is used to upgrade the Lightstream series to its final stage. And we're likely also getting the Omega Dark Falls number 4 Buster Quest, which is technically an urgent quest, but it's presented as a Buster Quest when you go in there.
Oh, yeah, the Buster Urgent.
Yep. November 11th? November 11th, that's going to be a major update, so we're probably looking at another holiday event urgent quest. We know what it is, but we're not going to say it in here what it is. But that's going to come with an urgent quest as well as a holiday lobby. And we're also hoping we're finally going to see the battle mode units release, which are the red and the blue shine.
Hopefully.
Because otherwise
we got Rappy Shine right now, so...
Yeah, we got Rappy Shine, but that's through Buster Medals. These are through purchasing through Battle Coins. After that, week of 11/18, we're probably going to get the final Episode 5 Urgent Quest, and I'm not going to say who that is. And with that, of course, the release of the Lightstream series. November 25th, that's probably when we're going to start to see the road to Episode 6 begin, including Special Training Episode 5. 12/2 is looking to be Never-Ending Battle Eternal Rondo, which is the second of the Endless Quests. And then finally, the update for December 9th. Episode 6 begins with the Christmas Lobby.
Yeah, it's very truncated, as we were saying.
Yep. And I don't think they would want to release it, episode 6, on 12/23, because that's Christmas, and even given the world situation currently, people are still going to want to be with their local families.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be with my family during that time.
Yeah, so it'd be an inappropriate time to release it, especially for the team working on the servers as well.
Yeah, because they have family to go to for Christmas.
Exactly. So it's likely going to be December 9th for episode 6 beginning.
Yep.
All right. So with that, let's move on to the Japanese side of things here for PSO2. Once again, this information comes to us from Bumped. They are currently running a Star Gem scratch for Earth Memory. That's going to last until January 20th. And this basically has a bunch of Earth-based outfits in here.
More so aimed towards Japanese because obvious reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very formal what you're seeing in here. Until we get down to here, where you've got the simple bath towel.
Yeah, bath towel! The best outfit in PSU.
Yep. I thought the sudsy one was.
No, in Universe.
Universe. I got you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Universe. I thought. Okay.
In this game, oh yeah, definitely. The sudsy is the best one.
Yeah. I thought there was a Speedo, though, that you could get in Phantasy Star Universe.
I think, but the bath towel's better.
Gotcha. And then you got some music discs in this as well here. Scratch bonus gives you access to a head writing accessory box B, including a head writing mother. And you also got some Oracle music boxes and an Oracle voice box. Black Suit Aru M box, which, yeah, this is starting to look like it's a revival of the.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Although this is interesting, male rappy voice and female rappy voice.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
An all-female Rena voice.
Yep.
Okay, all-male Itsuki voice. Oh, hey. Sound like Itsuki, okay.
Yep. And then they've also got... go ahead.
Sound like a rappy. Can we have that on NA as well, please?
Yeah, let's get that over here, because that would be like the only voice ticket we would ever get at this rate.
Since we also have the... one of the emotes of the current mission pass. The female one is pretty much just you're a rappy. That's how you act in that.
Yep. We've also got the an Earth Scratch AC Scratch here, which is going to give you access to the NPC outfits here, including Hitsuki's Ascended Flame and Kori's outfit. Aru's outfit, Phaleg.
Hey, Phaleg.
And this is Enga's outfit from the end of episode 5, although he didn't have the mask on there.
No. So yeah, this is pretty much just a revival scratch.
Yep. And then here's Ani Hagith, along with his avatar arm, or what was it called? Emerald Tablet in that version. Al outfits, Artem, and yeah, it's basically all the NPCs over with this one here. And then you can get yourself the Squinted Eyes face, which is once again Phaleg.
Yeah.
Along with a makeup set for her. You can also get the Ica Visor, which I think is from the anime, if I remember correctly.
I've never watched the anime, so I
Gotcha.
just make fun of it.
Yeah, PSO2, the animation. Watch episode 1, then skip to like episode 8, and then things. That's when things actually go in the story.
Yep.
Scrolling down here, we do also have some campaigns going on. They have an urgent quest called Viva Las Vegas. All difficulties currently have a 100% rare drop. Extra hard, it has an increased drop rate of the Dark Rappy Suit Mini and the Black Rappy Suit Mini. And in Ultra Hard only, they added the Viva Las Vegas trigger to the drop pool.
And that Viva Las Vegas is the first urgent quest that they released after Vita was killed. So I believe up to 40 enemies can show up at one point, right? I believe that's the case. So, because that's actually something that I'm actually glad about with the Vita being gone, is because they could do urgent quests because of that.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice that they're finally able to, because the way it works, I ran it once, and the way it works is you go to a section, you beat down some regular enemies, and then once you beat them down, then whatever time was remaining in that section, you then just get wave after wave, and it's just like 48 enemies in those groups, and it's just so amazing.
And that makes me excited to see that kind of stuff in New Genesis, hopefully.
We will see.
Yep.
They've also got an ARK support mission here. During this campaign, you'll get rewards such as the weapon camo, Groban Era, and a bonus key Tokyo Rainbow. So that runs from the 7th until the 28th. You also have a login campaign. So for each day, you're going to earn from the 8th to the 13th 3 rare drop rate 250% and a tri boost plus 150%. And then from the 14th to the 20th, it is 3 experience boosts plus 100% and a 1 million experience ticket. And if you log in for 5 days in a row, or not in a row, but 5 days inside of either period, you're going to get the Super Bia Era camo. And then we have the typical Sage Crest campaign here, which gives you 10 Sage Crests for each one of these you complete, which you can hand in for different trades. Mm-hmm. And then there is a quest-linked boost. That runs from September 30th until the 14th. So that is for Ship Infiltration Enhancer and the trigger version of that. And when you run that... Go ahead.
And also for the boosted quest gives you Primordial Glare from the Void and Viva Las Vegas.
Yep, so you get points in the Ship Infiltration and you use them in the boosted quest. And that boosts between 100% and 180% depending upon what level you reach. Boost level 6 for Viva Las Vegas, you get added Lumen Mech Emmer fragments to the drops, as well as added Emerald to the drops, increased ultimate boosters, and increased X-Cube drop rate. In Primordial Glare from the Void, at boost level 6, you get added Lumen Emmer fragments to the drops, added Emerald to the drops, increased ultimate boosters, and increased X-Cube drop rate. Actually, it looks like these are the same between both of them. And then for both of them, at boost level 9, you get added Plomia to drops, added Plom Des, added Plom Grimo, added Class Cube drops, added 15-star austere weapons to the drops, and added 13-star austere units. And so that was on extra hard and higher. And then ultra hard, you get added Lumimec granite crystals to the drops, added grind cap +1 to the drop, and added Dyards to the drops.
Adding austere weapons to drops, that's actually pretty big.
Yeah, definitely. Well, at this point, not really, because 15 stars kind of drop like candy over there now.
Oh yeah, that is true. There's a bunch of 15-star sets now, so not that hard to get like the initial 15 stars. Light streams are still useful, it's just other 15 stars have replaced them.
Exactly. You basically use a light stream as a battery now for your photon points.
Yep.
And then, of course, we have the typical Pusoni comic secret phrases. Speaking of which, Pusuni is done!
Yep, it's finished.
So, basically what's happening now is on the Japanese lobby, they are running the different episodes in batches of 4, I think, to before urgent quests pop now.
And if you say any of the phrases, if you never got any of the phrases, and if you say any of them before March 31st, 2021, then you will get all the items from it. Why March 31st?
That's a good question. Maybe that's when they're gonna launch New Genesis? I have no clue.
They said early 2021.
Yeah.
To be fair, March 31st is the end of the fiscal year, so...
That's true. Yeah, and basically you get Pusuni Memory 3s with those.
But you can trade for Pusuni items.
Yep. Alright, so that takes us to the end of the Japanese updates. Aside from that, we do also have an update from the Clementine server. So this is from Marmy. Then what they say here is, it's not Friday, but it is a day, and I come with mild news about actual progress. Can you believe it? Account creation via the launcher is now working correctly. Unfortunately, we've decided to hold off on account recovery and password change options for the time being, but those will come at a later date. The launcher and registration will go into testing shortly so that any remaining bugs can be ironed out. It feels good. Testing on the launcher will likely take a few days, depending upon what issues crop up. In the meantime, I have to resolve a few bugs in-game again, and then we will be looking at setting up the server host properly for the go-ahead. Additionally, the wiki is now around 90 to 95% complete, so we hope it will be ready and accessible to you for launch. I'll be back with more... Go ahead.
Yeah, finish that.
Yeah, I'll be back with more information as it becomes available. Love you!
So,
yeah.
First off, he's referencing the "Today is a Day" meme, which I started on that server. Let's go. And, it was just based off of people were saying "Today is the day" a lot on that server. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to roll with it and just say "Today is a day." And hey, people rolled along with it, so that's awesome.
And then, aside from that, they also put out this little image of the thing actually working here. So that's from the launcher. So we are very close at this point, hopefully.
Yeah. And with the wiki also almost being finished, I'm excited for that because that will allow me to plan out the route that I'll be taking. Since I want to know, okay, I will go here once I'm at this level to start farming for this weapon, and I can go here to easily grind up PAs, and I can go here to grind up mission points or for experience points, and just plot it out of where I'm going to be going.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting finally getting to that launch, seeing how much they have implemented, because I remember they said there was going to be a hard cap on levels now.
Yep, which I am fine with. Allows people just to not try so hard just to get up to cap.
Yep.
And actually enjoy all the different content.
Yes, indeed. Alright, moving on from that, we do also have an IDOLA summer event that is continuing on here. So bringing that up here. So gone is the level up quest, but we have 2 new quests that have been added in the meantime here. One is the breakthrough quest, and essentially what that is it is a limited time event. And the way it works is you basically climb a tower of, I think it's 20 stages in that? And it's like every 5 stages, the AI gets turned up to 11. So it's essentially designed to make you lose a lot of star diamonds just by reviving your team over and over. But at the end, you get a ton of rewards, including, I think it's a 1,000 star diamond reward. So it's like, in the end, you don't actually spend that much in terms of the star diamonds, because you do get those back as long as you have a reasonable team in there. It's kind of early on though with IDOLA, so in the West, so that you might actually lose some on this one. And then you've also got the Trail Quest, which I'm actually not sure how that one works, to be honest. If I had to guess, this might be the series whereby you just can't go down because it's an instant failure, I think. That's just my guess on what that is. I haven't actually had a chance to go into that one yet, so that's probably something I'll take a look at this weekend, hopefully.
And like I've said, I pretty much dropped IDOLA because most gacha games I just get bored of.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat here in that really I'm only going to be running IDOLA when they have like a major update on content like what we got currently. But yeah, that is that update here. With that, let's finally jump into the thing we have been chasing for months now to finish here. And that is the final of the PSO Developer Interviews here.
We're just about a little over a month late on talking about this one.
Yeah, there's just been so much between New Genesis and everything else here, but we're finally getting to the end of this here. So let's see here. I'll take the part of Polygon while you take the interviewee.
All right, it's Yuji Nakazawa.
Okay. So now to finish off our...
Actually, yeah, Yuki Nakazawa, he's the producer of the North American release of this game.
I hadn't put that together, actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So... Oh, yeah, it says it right here, actually.
Yep.
Alright, so now to finish off our series, we turn our attention to Phantasy Star Online 2, which recently arrived in the West 2 decades after release of the Dreamcast original, and 8 long years after PSO2's release in Japan. Western audiences often wondered whether the game would come to North America at all, yet Phantasy Star Online 2 is now available in the West on Xbox One and Windows PC. Additionally, Sega has announced a new open-world PSO2 update called New Genesis, due out in 2021. This update is being released in lieu of a new episode to bring the 8-year-old graphics engine up to date worldwide. Details of New Genesis are light at the moment, but Sega says it will reveal more in the Tokyo Game Show timeframe later this year, which we are...
They did. Yeah.
Okay, so... please introduce yourself, and in your own words, describe your role on the PSO2 team.
My name is Yuki Nakazawa, and I'm part of Sega's number 3 development team, and I'm the producer of North American release of PSO2. And I worked as the liaison with various teams for the development of the North American version.
How long have you been working on PSO2 or with the team in general?
I've been on and off of the team. I started with Phantasy Star Universe in Japan, and then also worked on the release of the North American Xbox version of PSU.
What other projects have you worked on at Sega?
I've worked on some smaller titles, but otherwise worked mostly on mobile games.
Why were you assigned to handle the Western version of PSO2?
I'm the director of the US release of the Xbox version, as well as the Asian release of PSO2, which was released prior to the US version. So I'm sort of the localization specialist.
And that's true. There was, I think there was the C version as well as a Korean version that was released.
Yep, and the reason why the C version was garbage was because of the other publisher, like the C publisher that was involved with it. They were the ones that wanted Sega to make changes, so that's why the C version was really bad.
They did get some unique things in there, though. They got their own unique lobby, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, they did. But also the costumes were pay to win and untradeable as soon as you equipped it.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Not just when we say pay to win, it was basically you got stats from costumes.
Yep.
And of course, that's where also the meme of forces being turned into wizards was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is also that.
Yeah, it was not a good translation.
No, it wasn't.
Alright, is it a relief now that PSO2 is finally out in the West for all the English-speaking PSO fans who have been asking for it for years?
There is a sense of relief because there was a lot of planning that went into the development. For example, Sega US and Sega Japan took surveys from the fans about what they wanted in the game. But as an online game, I feel the real challenge will be in maintaining the service going forward.
What is your impression of how the beta went in the US?
So in February, we had the closed beta, and there was an unexpectedly high number of participants. We heard a lot of players say they've been waiting 8 long years for this release, so we were really happy about that.
Yeah, and keep in mind that this interview was conducted several months ago, even before the article came out. Is this... Go ahead.
But that, honestly, that still holds true with just talking about how, like, there were a lot of people who were excited to finally play PSO2.
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
one of my friends included, because he just never bothered wanting to set up playing on the JP server.
Definitely. Is this one of the reasons that the Western servers are separate from the Japanese servers, so that you could roll out the later episodes at the appropriate pace, rather than dump all the Western players onto the same servers as players in Asia, who have experienced all the content already? Or did it have to do with the consideration of data speeds?
It's a little bit of both. The reason why we put it in a different server for the US release was to control the rolling out of the stories, and also due to server capacity. The ease of play is one of the selling points of the game, and the distance of the servers to the players affects latency, so we knew we wanted to have the servers physically closer to our players in North America. And although there are hardcore fans who will play regularly and explore all the content in the North American region, there are still many who are not familiar with the franchise, and we didn't feel it would be fair to release 8 years worth of content at once, so it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, and I think that was the best decision that they could have made on all of that.
Yeah, they did say all the content, and we knew, like, okay, they're probably not going to release all the content right away for everything. It would have just been too overwhelming.
Granted, the only time when the latency actually comes into play, though, is with the PvP mode.
Oh, yeah, definitely. PvP mode on the JP server. Oh, that was fun.
It certainly was.
You're about to attack someone. Oh, they attacked you first somehow. You're dead now.
Yep. As you say, PSO2 did come out 8 years ago, and people are wondering why it took so long between the Japanese release and the Western release. Did it have to do with the microtransaction system and in-game purchases being very different for Japan?
The in-game transactions were not the reason. We wanted to release PSO2 in North America shortly after the release in Japan, but our reason for the delay of the US version was the structure of the operation team necessary to operate an online game. We couldn't risk releasing the game in a new territory without the right infrastructure in place, so it took some time to set up operations for North America. Things like a way to communicate service updates, policies for in-game promotions, communication tools for maintenance notifications, having a team in place for monitoring both the servers and users, as well as a customer service team. These operational tools were not in place and were below the standards of what was offered for PSO2 Japan. And also, we need to bring up PSU when talking about this stuff.
Agreed. But...
the handling of the North American release of PSU. Oh,
right.
Boy.
But I'm gonna break something that I haven't done very often here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and call bullshit on some of that stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no,
You just need to bring up how Sega of Japan treated PSU. Seriously.
That plus, I work as a workforce management analyst for forecasting, and just through that, I know what it takes, or rather how long it takes to bring up a site for customer service. It does not take 8 years to do that. Your business would not survive long enough to make it that far.
Nope. Not only that, I believe they should have just said, like, the market was not there. because genuinely the market was not there compared to Japan.
Well, at least now they know better. I'm
yeah.
sure they're kicking themselves, and here's the thing. It's not us that they need to answer to for delaying it for 8 years. It's their investors they have to answer to now.
So they're trying not to completely be blatant about why it took 8 years to finally get this game released in North America.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of bull in that statement.
Yeah. And that's unfortunately going to kind of be the theme through a lot of the rest of this year. Urban legend has it that the localization was actually done a long time ago. Were there other technical reasons for the delay?
The issue was not technical, and in terms of the localization, it was completed recently in preparation for this release. The biggest problem is we weren't able to facilitate all aspects of the operation.
Okay, I can actually confirm that portion of it. And that's because I got access to some leaked documents that kind of showed some of the information that went into the decision-making, including why those scenes were censored. So I can definitely confirm the information about the localization only being completed very recently. Moving on from there, and we have another shot of a new Genesis here. Is there any content that you had to adjust for the Western release? Presumably you won't be bringing over the Japan-specific collaborative content, like convenience store branding or drinks, but do you have any plans for Western-themed items or collaborations?
Well, they already did one, which was the 4th of July event.
Yep, and we know there's another coming in November.
Yep. Anyway, we weren't able to roll it out in the same way we did for the Japanese release, but we are open to cross-collaborations in the US as well. We probably won't be doing the cross-promotions with convenience stores and drinks, as we did in Japan, but we are interested in doing some cross-promotions with other anime programs or franchises. In Japan, you'll have convenience stores on every corner, but in the States, everything is so much more spread out, so in terms of those collaborations, probably not. But in terms of people or branding, we would be interested in doing that kind of sponsorship.
I'm kind of surprised they can't do the 7-Eleven one, though.
Yeah, they could do 7-Eleven, because 7-Eleven's still pretty big in the US.
Yep.
I know plenty of places. I know plenty of 7-Elevens, even in Pennsylvania.
Besides the added depth of customization options and the more nimble gameplay, players can jump, finally. The game still very much captures the spirit of the original PSO, which other Phantasy Star games released since have not. What do you think PSO2 brings with it from the original PSO, and what specifically do you feel is unique to PSO2?
As you mentioned, the jumping in the special combos and the relatively short battles and quick quest times are things we brought to PSO. Editor's note, the original PSO often subjugated the player to long drawn-out quests that could take upwards of an hour and a half in solo play. Well, yeah, solo play, duh. You're doing it solo. Obviously, solo play is going to take a long time in PSO. Anyway, it also maintains a sense of community through the icon chat. Another example is that even if you are playing solo, you can read the dialogue of other players in the chat box, so it doesn't feel so lonely. Simple chat is another feature we've preserved from the original. We felt that these features enhance the social aspect of the game. These communication systems that were all inherited from the original game. For the NA release, we expanded on that even more by adding voice chat, which isn't offered in the Japanese version.
Yeah, that's... I haven't used it personally, but I have heard of other players using it.
Yeah, and that's cool for the people using it. Like I said, I personally don't use it, and if I'm going to chat with someone, it's in Discord. So...
Yep.
It's cool.
Did you have to make changes to any visuals in the game or adjust the localization of the Western version?
For the Xbox release, we had to make it 4K compatible, so there were graphical enhancements we made.
Did that create a lot of work for the development team?
It wasn't a lot of work, but the team was surprised by how beautiful the enhancements made the game look.
Was it helpful to be able to develop and optimize for a fixed platform like Xbox One rather than the myriad permutations that gaming PCs might present?
For the Japanese version, it was a multi-platform release on PC and PS4, so PSO2 was already optimized to provide the best results regardless of which platform you're playing on. The focus was more on how to bring out the strengths of the platform. No, it was a multi-platform release on the PC and PlayStation Vita, and then later on the PS4.
And then the switch through the cloud version.
Yeah.
So technically, PC can do cloud as well.
Yeah, but the initial release of PSO2 was on the PC and the Vita.
Well, technically, it was PC first, and then Vita was like that summer.
Vita, yeah. Well, Vita came pretty soon.
Yeah.
You could do episode 1 stuff on the Vita. So.
Yep.
Yeah, because the PS4 didn't come until episode 4.
Yeah, that was that. Vita I think was around the time they released Chapter 8 or 9. Are you planning any PSO2 related merchandise or physical versions for the West?
Not currently, but if there's a demand for it, that might change. And if we organize offline events and we want to have a merch table, we might consider making merch for something like that. There isn't really a channel or a way for selling merchandise, but that might change in the future so that we could sell our Japanese merchandise to our North American users.
Yep, and the offline events they're talking about are these events that typically happen around the summertime when they invite the players into these big venues. Granted, there haven't been any this year because of the current world situation, and probably going to last into next year as well at this rate. You already done the Xbox collaboration where players could unlock an Xbox branded T-shirt in game. Presumably, you have more crossover content planned like that.
Yes, absolutely.
And part of that, of course, being the Steam release version. Will you be able to move your character from ship to ship in case your friends are on a different ship than you?
It's not possible right now, but we've heard those requests from others as well, and it is something we plan on rolling out. It's possible currently in Japan, but even in Japan, we can only move servers or transfer data once a week during maintenance. There's a specific window and frequency at which you can do this, and that will remain the same for the North American region as well. And by the way, by the time when this interview was done, that wasn't possible, and now it is possible, so...
Yep.
You're fine
Although,
with ships.
Although for us, it typically happens at either a 2 to 4 week range here.
Yeah. And it's expensive, so only transfer the ships if you absolutely know you want to transfer your character.
Yep. When the original PSO came out, online games weren't really established yet. PSO changed all that. With PSO2, playing games online is practically the standard, so now that you did the hard work in pioneering things 20 years ago, you could really focus on the design of the game. What were the design priorities for PSO2?
The first thing that we expanded in PSO2 was in the character creation system that wasn't previously possible in MMOs. The next focus was that we wanted to make it as easily accessible to players as possible. As mentioned earlier, since there were a lot of solo players in the game, we wanted to make the communication features as seamless as possible so that players could join other players with ease and not have to spend a lot of time gathering a party. In PSO2, we've created a party area where you can just join parties in progress without the downtime spent organizing a group that you might have had with the original game. Another area that is new with PSO2 is the cross-platform play. The Japanese version already has it, on PC, PS4, Vita, and Switch, and Vita's gone, by the way.
Yep, RIP.
And PSO2S? No, that's not cross-platform. What? No.
It kind of is in that you can share experience and items between the versions, but you can't actually play with other players.
No, it's a completely different game. It's terrible. Anyway, continuing on. You can play the same character across these different platforms. Nowadays, that might not be so unique, but 8 years ago, it was quite revolutionary. For the US version, we've just announced the Windows 10 version in May, and that you'll be able to play across Xbox and PC, and we hope in future platforms as well.
Yep, so once again, Steam.
I believe they're going to be able to do like Series X, like since it will continue on Xbox, especially with New Genesis.
I doubt they'd have an issue with that. It's probably all running the same code, to be honest.
Yep.
This really shows respect for a player's time, since you basically make the game as accessible and accommodating as possible. This leads into the next question, which is about the decision to go free-to-play for PSO2. It makes a lot more sense now since a person can easily download the client for free on whichever platform they want to play on, and move over to another version easily without having to pay $60 for each. Was this all part of your strategy to get people playing across as many platforms as possible?
That was naturally part of it. 8 years ago, when we first began preparing PSO2 for release in Japan, when you think of RPGs, Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest are the prominent Japanese role-playing games. So we had to think, how do we compete with those titles? And the key to that was the ease of access. Two things we came up with were to provide it on multiple platforms, so we could offer it to people with any game console, and the second idea was to make it free to play, which makes it easy to enter because there's no charge up front. Also 8 years ago, most of the MMOs were coming out of Korea or China, and they were pay-to-win style. By providing PSO2 as free to play, we wanted to keep the quality of the game, but also make it a profitable business. We wanted to prove that free to play was a viable business platform that could be profitable. As a trend, I think we were right in our target to make it free to play, as you're seeing that a lot more in these industries these days. We were pioneers in offering free to play without compromising the quality of the game. And I believe in 2012, I believe that's also when Dragon Quest had their MMO, which was Dragon Quest X. Which that's a pay-to-play MMO.
Yep, and that originally released on the Wii only, if I remember correctly.
Yep. It wasn't until early next year that it released on the computer and then the Wii U.
Yep. But yeah, it's also the fact that they've kept this thing free to play and as a very good free to play style, where the stuff that you're paying for is either cosmetic or nice to haves, rather than it being required to progress through the game. I think that's one of the best decisions that they ever made, which is really just going to keep this game in the minds of everybody that plays it, even after they've stopped playing it. Because now they'll just be able to compare PSO2 to anything else that comes out with a gacha system and progression system, even if it's like a solo single-player RPG or something like that. And they'll be able to complain to the developer saying, "Why did you do this? Why can't you make this like PSO2, where you can get through the..." Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks, EA and everyone.
No, Genshin Impact is the current new release game. That's the free-to-play gacha game. And gotcha. Yeah, I still say, yeah, it's on PC, it's on PS4, it's on mobile, cool, but the PSO2 still plays and is far better when it comes to none of the content and none of the you don't have to do the gacha. In Genshin Impact, you have to do the gacha. That's how you get new characters.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll have to see if this changes how the industry does things. Probably not, but we'll...
No. Sadly, no.
At least people can now complain to developers and say, make it like PSO2.
Yeah, I hope so. Especially once new Genesis are out. Because that's just looking to be just overall the best.
Yep. Back when PSO2 was first released in Japan, there was a lot of controversy around free-to-play games because kids were racking up huge charges on their parents' credit cards in games like Puzzle & Dragons, so much so that the government actually stepped in and cracked down on the random item generation business. Now, PSO2 was not really that kind of game, but did those added government regulations affect the monetization design of PSO2 in any way?
It didn't really affect the way we designed the game because we weren't focused on the gacha style of gameplay. However, I'm adding in on this. It did affect the gacha system they had. Do you want to talk about that? Because you did play the beta.
Oh yeah. It used to be that you would have to scratch everything that was on a list, and once you managed to scratch those things, then you would get a bonus item. It was pure luck if you were going to get that bonus item or not.
Mm-hmm. That form of gacha got banned by the Japanese government.
Yep, it's illegal now, so they had to switch things up.
And they mentioned Puzzles and Dragons. Yeah, Puzzles and Dragons had that kind of system.
Yeah, So
it just got so out of hand with that the government got involved with it.
yeah. Okay, and the last one here. We've been waiting for so long for PSO2 to come out in the West, 8 years now, that it's interesting that you decided to release it here first on Xbox One. It's interesting because the Xbox One is basically in the last year of its life as Microsoft transitions to the Xbox Series X. Did you launch on Xbox One because you knew that the Xbox Series X would be backwards compatible, and that people would be able to carry their progress over to the next console? Or did Microsoft approach you because they're hungrier for content than Sony is for the PlayStation 4?
Microsoft was very cooperative in releasing PSO2, and to expand on that, they were interested in PSO2 and in providing us with Agile, their programming software. It's not really a technical reason, because in terms of moving the game over to Xbox, it wasn't any easier, but they really supported putting the game on Xbox. Not that the Xbox is specifically difficult, but there were some features that had to be adjusted specifically for Xbox. It was originally developed on PC, so it is relatively straightforward to bring over any other system. And I'm adding on that, Phil Spencer, he was very adamant on also getting PSO2 on the Xbox, because he himself is a fan of that game. So
That plus the support that they got from Microsoft also with the Azure servers.
yeah. And also, Phil Spencer is very adamant on getting the Series X to be a success in Japan.
Yep.
Since Xbox has never been good in Japan, it's never sold well at all. They tried with the original Xbox by having a lot of Japanese developers on it, but it didn't really work out that well. And then the 360 and Xbox One have barely, never broke 1 million in Japan ever.
Yeah. It's just a market they've just never been able to crack for some reason, despite all their attempts to get like these Japanese developers on board. Like I remember when they went to Mistwalker Studios and they got Blue Dragon and I think it was Lost Odyssey, and it back on the 360, and people just did not budge. And
Blue Dragon's great.
And here's the really weird part of this. If you remember, Microsoft did have success over there in the past through their MSX series of computers.
It's true.
So it's a real mystery why they're not successful over there.
Yeah, I just don't know. But I think with what Phil Spencer's doing with trying to get Xbox more into Japan, it's needed, honestly, because that's the one market they've just never been able to crack, because Sony and Nintendo, especially Nintendo right now, have a really strong handle on that.
Yep. Here's a question
for
you, though.
The Switch has been selling extremely well over in Japan.
Agreed. Here's a question for you, though. Why haven't they released an Xbox version of PSO2 on the Japanese side yet?
Good question.
Is there going to be a new Genesis version over there?
I don't know. That would actually make a lot of sense.
Yeah, if Phil is really trying to push over there to make things successful, there you go, an MMORPG.
Mm-hmm.
So, some of this stuff, unfortunately, just is not lining up. But it's enough that we can at least say, okay, we can, as long as we get past, the real bullshit stuff that they said in here, we can give them a pass after that, I think. But yeah, that finally brings us to the end of the Polygon series. I can't believe it took us this long to get through this thing.
Well, we've been busy with talking about other things, so.
Indeed. So, with all that said, we had one other thing here today, and that is Sega did drop it. Well, not Sega itself, but they did. There was a teaser given. Sega's Yosuke Okanari talked about the future of Sega's mini consoles in the latest issue of Famitsu magazine, and they go into some of the highlighted quotes from them here over on Silicon Era. So.
Yep. And there's one quote that a lot of people are really honing in on, and it's
Oh yeah.
the quote right at the bottom. I think
Yep.
for the next one, we may go with a concept close to the Mega Drive Mini. If I have to say some other names, could be a SG-1000 Mini or a Dreamcast Mini.
Yep. So if we
Right
go
there,
with
right at the end, the Dreamcast Mini.
Yep. Well, let's get to that in a second here. First,
Okay.
there are a couple of other points here that we want to talk about here. Specifically, regarding the Game Gear Micro, it only sold domestically in Japan.
Yeah.
When they do the next one, they want the project scope to be much bigger as they gaze upon the world. So they won't be able to release whatever they're going to do at this time the next year, or even 2 years after the Mega Drive Mini. So we're still going to be a ways off from this whenever it does happen. In regards to the SG-1000, I could see things like Alex Kidd. I could see the original Phantasy Star on there. I could see the Genesis...
Wonder Boy 3, the Dragon Strap.
Yep, Wonder Boy, definitely. I could see not the Mega Drive, the SG-1000 and the Game Gear versions of Sonic the Hedgehog there on those as well. Because keep in mind, the Sega Game Gear and the SG-1000 / Master System basically had the same hardware inside there.
Yeah. And there was a lot of I know a lot of people have played the Game Gear versions of some of these Sonic games, but some of them have Master System versions, which are just better because there's less screen crunch, especially for Sonic 2.
Yep.
Oh boy, the screen crunch in Sonic 2 on the Game Gear is awful.
Yep. You could probably also see some lesser-known games in there. I would say probably Shinobi, and then maybe what is it called again? ZX or some. It's like this really old shooter. Xevious, I think.
Or could also put some of the more well-known Sega game, like I believe there was a version of Outrun on the Master System, right?
I think you're right as well on that one. And then the other thing is there was also
Zaxxon as well, yeah.
Zaxxon, Xevious, and then there was one other game I was thinking of, and it had an anime series for it as well. I'm trying to remember what it was called, but it was I don't know if this is actually official lore within the Phantasy Star series. It's questionable, but it's sort of where the genesis of the Ruby Bullet weapon in PSO came from, and I'm trying to remember what that's called.
But here we go. When it comes to if they do a Dreamcast Mini, that gets me very, very interested.
Yep. There it is. It's Zillion.
Zillion, okay.
Yeah, that was off. In fact, that was a game that if you went into the debug items for Phantasy Star, it was listed there as a weapon inside there as well.
Oh, interesting.
You couldn't actually use it though.
Well, yeah. On to the Dreamcast Mini thing there. Could they possibly have some sort of online thing when it comes to that?
Possibly. And so here's the thing. This is actually the perfect opportunity for them to finally bring back the PSO servers and to basically release a version of Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst on the Dreamcast Mini.
A Blue Burst?
Yeah, because that's the complete version of everything. Or the other option is you do a version select where it's version 1, version 2, and then Blue Burst if you want the complete version.
It would probably be either version 2 or Blue Burst, because version 1 is very obsolete if you have version 2.
Yeah, it's buggy.
Very buggy.
Yeah, and plus, I don't know if you would have a way to actually block against the null bug on either of those versions, because you can't just pull your VMU out.
Nope. And you also don't have quick swap.
Right. At least you didn't on version 1.
Yeah, version 1, you did not have the quick menu, which trying to play back, the null bug. I actually have a version 1 disc, and I burned a version 2 disc. But trying to play version 1 after playing Blue Burst a good while now, it is hard to play that without having the quick menu.
That it is. You need to be set in whatever weapon you're going to use, basically.
Mm-hmm. Whereas with Blue Burst, I'm swapping weapons a lot. I'm a humor. I have to do that.
Yep.
Well, even if you're other classes, you still swap weapons a lot. Like, you have one weapon if you want to just hit the enemy, hit one singular enemy, hit multiple enemies close range, hit an enemy farther range, hit multiple enemies further range. Like, you have multiple weapons set up for that reason.
And then trying to play a force. Oh my goodness, you were constantly in the menu.
Force without the quick menu. Oh.
When you go into the menu, your screen basically goes into this small box in the corner, and you were basically just playing the game with that box open the whole time rather than having the full screen.
Unless you were using your most commonly used techniques, which
that's true.
Most of the time you weren't.
So yeah, but if anything, then version 2 and Blue Burst.
Yeah, definitely.
But this would finally be an opportunity for them to actually bring a version of PSO back online, which is what players are asking for in some sort of an official capacity, rather than looking at servers like Affinia and things like that.
Affinia is still great. I would highly recommend, if anyone who wants to play the original PSO, play on Affinia, because it's still really good. But yeah, an official way of replaying these games again would be amazing.
Agreed. Yep. Same with PSU, but we don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Although PSU is coming up on its 15th anniversary next year, so we will see.
But we also got Clementine here to help out with that. And honestly, like, this interest in older MMOs, I love it, honestly. Because it just goes to show how terrible most modern games are, where more people would much rather play games from the past than current games.
Exactly, and the community never really died. This isn't like a renaissance or anything. It's the same players that were playing back then that are still playing today. I mean, I'm part of that boat.
I was late. I joined the Phantasy Star boat with Portable. But I've been really interested in Phantasy Star ever since.
Yeah, it is such a versatile... Go ahead.
But the player base is strong and has always been strong. It's never died.
Yep. It is such a versatile series that can just take you pretty much anywhere you want to. You want to play a traditional RPG? Hey, you got the Algo series. If you want to play an online game, then you got your PSO and PSU. You want to be able to jump, you got PSO2. You want a text adventure game? Hey, you got those on the Genesis as well on the Game Gear. You want to play a card battle game? That's on the GameCube. Phantasy Star Online Episode 3 Card Revolution. So no matter what you want to do, this game, or rather this series has something for you.
Except for racing. You don't have racing.
You kinda do.
In Universe, you did have racing. It was a mini game thing. The hoverboard.
And plus you do have the time attack things as well.
Yeah.
So it's a very versatile series. So you know what? It's funny you say that, Zeomantic. They just released the Rappy Waddle Race.
Yeah, they did.
Furniture item. So, yeah.
So yeah, this prospect of a Dreamcast Mini, it's very interesting.
Yep.
Would they do PSO? Possibly. Like, a lot of people remember the Dreamcast for Sonic. Yeah, because of Sonic. But also PSO. Like, that was like the big game on the Dreamcast in 2000.
Yep. But let's not focus it only on PSO. What let's each say maybe 5 games each that we want to see on this thing.
Sonic Adventure 2,
and
Shinobi,
I'd say let's also get the original Sonic Adventure on there as well.
PSO, obviously. What else?
Jet Set Radio Future?
Yeah, Jet Set Radio Future, since it only released in the US on the Xbox.
And how about Skies of Arcadia?
Yeah. I would also say Space Channel 5, Part 1 and 2.
Maybe Marvel vs. Capcom 2?
Yes, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 New Age of Heroes. The Dreamcast version was the best version of the game.
That it was. How about, let's also throw a weird one in there. How about Alien Front Online?
Maybe. I would also throw in Choo Choo Rocket.
That might be fun.
Yeah, because they mentioned Choo Choo Rocket was what they used to test online.
Yep.
For PSO, so.
Oh, and Super Monkey Ball.
That first released on the GameCube.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was not a Dreamcast release.
Okay.
It was an arcade and then GameCube.
Gotcha. Okay. What else was there? Daytona USA?
Yeah. What else? Crap. Sega Bass Fishing.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up a list here now just so we can see.
See. Oh yeah, the Soul Calibur, obviously.
Yep. Maybe Shenmue.
Yeah, I mentioned Shenmue. Samba de Amigo, maybe.
That might be hard without the controller.
Yeah. Power Stone 2, that would be perfect.
Yep.
I actually have Power Stone 2 burned onto a CD because multiplayer fun. It is so much fun on multiplayer. Crazy Taxi could be another good one.
Space Channel 5.
Yeah, I mentioned part 1 and 2 on that one, and
Okay.
same with Grandia 2. Ooh,
Yeah, that's a good one.
because before the HD release of the Grandia games, the best version of Grandia 2 to play was the Dreamcast version. Because it was the only one that ran at 60 FPS in the battles.
Maybe Virtua Fighter?
Maybe. Yeah, Dreamcast had a lot of good fighting games.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Like Street Fighter 3 Alpha is one that comes to mind.
Yeah, and maybe I saw it back here. Ikaruga.
Ikaruga, yeah, that's a staple on those old consoles.
Yep. I don't know if Seaman would work without a microphone.
Yeah, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike would be great.
Oh, and maybe Typing of the Dead.
Yes! The most obscure House of the Dead game.
So yeah, there's a lot of options for what they can do, and depending upon how they build the thing, I mean, maybe they could support ISOs or something like that.
Possibly. So, because I know that people, when it came to these mini consoles, they found ways to add in additional games.
Yep.
So maybe if PSO is not on there, maybe the people will have a way of getting PSO on there and then be able to connect onto the fan servers.
Possibly. Who knows?
Yeah. So you don't no longer need to set up a Dream Pie.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. And then it
Alright.
also comes, like, what kind of controllers would they use for it? Would they use replicas of the original Dreamcast controllers?
I think so, but maybe give them USB ports on there.
Yeah. And you could use the original VMUs with it? That would be amazing if that's true.
I wonder if my VMUs are still alive. They're probably dead on their batteries, if I'm being honest.
I have 3 VMUs and they all work.
Nice.
Pretty much, like, the only reason they work is because I got them recently.
Gotcha.
One of them was new in box too. I was
Nice.
surprised by that.
I have two of the VMUs that split into 4 save files and had no screen on it, so those might still be alive, actually.
Probably. We'll find them. Because if this Dreamcast Mini's actually true and it has those BMU slots, that would be amazing.
Yep. Or maybe what they'll do is they'll just put they might just put a screen on the controller and just call it done without making it swappable.
Yeah, that is true. But we'll see. It's just something they threw out there in that interview, so
Yep.
we
And
might not see it for a good while. But that would
it's-
be amazing if it does come out.
It's funny to look back on it now, because that was essentially what the Wii U eventually became. Where you had the screen on the controller, and then the TV you were looking at as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll have to see what they do. Like we said, it could just be the SG-1000 / Master System that they do next, and maybe the Dreamcast will be 3 to 4 years down the line. Who knows?
Yeah.
But at least they're thinking about it.
Yep. Especially since, yeah, you can't have the Dreamcast without those online games because Dreamcast had the built-in modem.
Exactly.
It was the staple thing about the Dreamcast.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah, I
they'll
wonder
include
what
a broadband adapter or a Wi-Fi unit with it. And you could just swap them out depending on which one you want.
That would be cool.
But yeah, that pretty much brings me to everything I had today. Did you have anything else today, Zance?
Nope, that's all I had as well. Yep, it's still thinking. That's true. It's still thinking.
Yep.
After 21 years now. Wow.
Yeah.
After 21 years, the Dreamcast is still thinking.
Yep. I hope, if anything, I do hope that they change the controller a little bit, just to make it a little bit easier to hold it. I mean, maybe still keep, the plasticky look of it, but maybe make the hands a little bit rubberized, because those weren't that good to hold on to for long times with it just being plastic.
Most of the control stick have that as rubber, please. Instead of hard plastic.
Yeah. Alright, so that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. On behalf of Zance and myself, thank you for joining us today. Day has dawned. Have a great day, everyone.
Johnny.